What is going on, comic book fans? Welcome back to Bruce and Stephanie Comics. My name is Bruce, and today is Thursday, July 7th of 2022. And guys, it is time for another comic book speculation recommendations video. The video where I take a look at this upcoming weekend's final order cutoff and next week's new comic book day and try to figure out what books you guys might want to consider speculating on. That way you can try to start and make this hobby fun itself. Now, with this being a speculation video, I need to give you guys two reminders. But if you guys have already seen this video series, guys, I put timestamps down below and you guys can go ahead and skip ahead to the final order cutoff speculation. But if you guys are new to this video series, stick around and hear my two reminders. Alright guys, so my first reminder that I have for you guys is that you guys have to do your own research. This is a speculation video. I am making some educated guesses on what I think is good speculation, but what you guys should do is go check out the comic book YouTubers you trust, other comic book websites that you trust, and other comic book apps that you trust. Gather the most information possible so that way you guys can make the best decisions possible for yourself, because remember, you're spending your own hard-earned money on these books. Not my money, your money. Now, my second and final reminder that I have for you guys is that there are delays with comic book release dates. So sometimes the book will show up multiple times on final order cutoff or multiple times on new comic book day spec because its release date got moved for one reason or another. So those are my two reminders that I have for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive into final order cutoff speculation. Alright guys, it is time to talk final order cutoff speculation. And the key thing to know about final order cutoff are the dates you need to get your orders in by. And for DC and Scout, it's July 10th. And for Marvel and all the other indie titles, it's July 11th. Alright guys, let's go ahead and go over my cover lover picks for this upcoming final order cutoff. Alright guys, it is time to go over my two cover lover picks for this upcoming final order cutoff. These are books that I think might sell well on the secondary market based on the cover art alone. And the first book that I think you guys might want to consider is Poison Ivy #3, the Joelle Jones and Jordi Belair variant cover. I think this cover is absolutely gorgeous. And I really think some of these Poison Ivy covers are going to do really well on the secondary market in the future. Alright guys, my second and final cover lover pick is for Harley Quinn #18, the Ryan Sook homage cover, which is homaging Batman issue #1. This is just an absolutely fantastic homage cover, and I think people are going to be really into this, and I think some people are going to forget about it, so you guys can go ahead and pick this book up and go ahead and make yourself some money in the future. Alright guys, with our cover lover picks out of the way, it is time to dive into all the books that have speculation. That's right, I'm going to go over all the books on final order cutoff that have speculation, and at the end of this list, I will give you guys my final order cutoff spec picks of the week. Alright guys, the first book on final order cutoff that has speculation is Golden Rage #1. And here is the synopsis. Older women deemed useless to society are abandoned on an island in their golden years, where they live out their lives making friends, baking desserts, and fighting to the death. How cool does that sound? Next up, we have Frankenstein New World #1. A young girl safely tucked away inside the hollow earth where humanity survived after Ragnarok awakens the timeless oracle once known as Frankenstein to investigate the warnings and perhaps even explore the new world above. Next up is Black Adam Justice Society Files Cyclone #1. This is a one-shot prequel to the Black Adam movie. Next up is Dark Crisis #3, the first appearance of the Red Canary. Next up is Flashpoint Beyond #4. This is the first appearance of Dexter Dent, a vigilante intending to break his mother out of Arkham Asylum. Next up is New Champion of Shazam #1. This is the first solo series from Mary Marvel. Next up is Sword of Azrael #1. This is a 6-issue limited series continuing from a story from Batman Urban Legends. Next up is Amazing Spider-Man #7 with the debut of the Oscorp Spider-Man suit. Next up is Ghost Rider Vengeance Forever #1. This is the first appearance of Necro the Tattooist, a seer who uses his needle to discover the truth. Next up is Giant Size Gwen Stacy #1. This is a 120-page one-shot of original stories plus issues 1 through 3 reprinted of the 2019 Gwen Stacy series. And last but not least is Star Wars Mandalorian #2 with the possible first appearance of Grogu, because they're not sure if he's going to have a cameo in issue #1 or if his first appearance is actually going to be in issue #2. Alright guys, those are all the books that have speculation coming out on this weekend's final order cutoff. Stick around and find out what my spec picks of the week are. Alright guys, there are 3 books that I think you guys might want to consider speculating on, so let's go ahead and dive right in and figure out what these books are. And the first one that I want to talk to you guys about is Golden Rage #1. This is a book from Image Comics, and the concept is just too cool. I can really see a streaming service picking this up in the future. A bunch of older women on an island fighting each other to the death. There is a larger story that could be told with this property right here, so I will go ahead and snag myself a couple extra copies of this book, because what if it doesn't get picked up? So what, you spend $8, $12 on a couple books? Not a big deal. But if this does get picked up, you guys can make yourself a small little premium on this book right here. Alright guys, and the next book that I think you guys might want to consider speculating on is the new champion of Shazam #1, the first solo series featuring Mary Marvel. Now I think this is pretty cool because we're getting a female lead in the Shazam role. We know both DC and Marvel are trying to push females to the forefront in the big screen and small screen roles. So why not go ahead and pick yourself up a couple extra copies of this book. But guys, also the covers for this series are fantastic so far. They are really, really, really good. So that's #2. The third book that I think you guys might want to consider speculating on is Star Wars Mandalorian #2 with the possible first appearance of Grogu. There are so many Grogu fans out there in the world, and if his first appearance is not in issue #1, then you definitely want to get your hands on issue #2. And there have been so many amazing covers that I'm going to show you in the new comic book day speculation section for issue #1. I think there's also going to be some really cool covers for issue #2. So keep an eye out on those 3 books, in my opinion, guys. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you not agree with me on the 3 books that I picked for my final order cutoff spec picks of the week? Alright guys, we just went over all the books that had speculation on final order cutoff. I gave you my spec picks of the week. Now it's time to dive into my new comic book day spec picks for July 13th of 2022. And we need to dive right in because there are so many good cover lover picks to go over. I don't want to waste any more time. I want to show these covers off right now. Alright guys, the first book in our cover lover section is Daredevil #1. Now, there are so many good covers for this. There's a bunch of ratios and exclusive covers that you guys can pick from. The one that I really like is the Ryan Stegman cover, because it features Daredevil and Elektra on the cover, and they're both the main characters in this new book, and I am just a big Ryan Stegman fan. So that's book #1. But the second book has so many good covers, and I'm talking about Star Wars Mandalorian #1. Now, a lot of the covers that I'm going to talk about are ratio covers or exclusive covers, so they're going to come at a premium. But let me just go through real quick all the covers that I think might do well on the secondary market, and you will notice a lot of them feature Grogu. Alright guys, so the first one up is the 1 in 25 David Aja cover. Fantastic, such a good cover. Then we got the Alex Maleev exclusive cover. Then we got the Ricky Yagway, I believe, Rebel Base Comics exclusive variant cover, then the Mike Mayhew exclusive variant, and then the Stephanie Hans variant, which is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure which one's my favorite. I really like the David Aja, I really like the Alex Maleev, but guys, there are just so many good covers. Any one of these could do really well on the secondary market, so what I wrote down in my notes is pick your poison. Go with your gut, figure out what book you think might do the best, and guys, go with that one. And the next cover that I want to show you guys is the Immortal X-Men #4, the cover A, done by Mark Brooks. Now, I put this on my cover lover section when it was on final order cutoff. So guys, I hope you put your order in then, so that way you got it at a discount. But if you guys see this in the shelf in your local LCS, pick up 1 or 2 extra copies for yourself, because I think this will do well in the future. And the next cover that I want to show you guys is the Avengers X-Men Eternals Eve of Judgment #1, the David Nakayama exclusive variant cover, and I really like the Virgin variant. Not the trade dress, no, the Virgin variant featuring the Scarlet Witch. It's gorgeous. I love that bright red. It pops, and she just looks absolutely amazing. And the next cover that I want to show you guys is for Spider-Punk #3, the cover A, and it's simply because it features Spider-Punk chewing some gum and blowing a bubble. And there are people out there who collect bubblegum covers, and if you guys have a couple extra copies, you guys can possibly make yourself a little bit of a premium in the future. And the last and final cover that I want to show you guys is for Bill and Ted Roll the Dice #2, the photo variant cover. And it is just because it is a photo variant, and people love photo variant covers. So that is my last and final cover lover pick for this upcoming new comic day. Guys, let me know down in the comments below. Did you like any of those? Do you agree with me that some of these covers will do well on the secondary market in the future? Guys, let me know down in the comments. Alright guys, so the Key Collector app has 16 books in its Future Keys section that they think are key worthy. But guys, I think there's only one out of all those 16 books that you guys should consider speculating on, and that is for Star Wars Mandalorian #1, with the first appearance of Din Djarin and the possible first appearance of Grogu, or the possible first cameo of Grogu. And the main reason, well, there are huge Star Wars fans out there that just absolutely love Grogu, and they're gonna want his first appearance in comics because they're gonna want his first appearance of everything. So go ahead and pick yourself up a couple extra copies of Star Wars Mandalorian #1 and pick the cover that you really like. I really like that 1 in 25 David Aja, the Axe Maleev, the Stephanie Hahn, the I don't know, Mike Mayhew. There are just too many good covers to pick. But pick your favorite, go with that. And that is it for this week's comic book speculation recommendations video. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. You guys made it to the end of the video, so you know exactly what that means. You guys are legends. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of the video. So guys, what do you think about all the books that I spoke about on today's video? Do you like any of them? Do you not like any of them? Do you think I'm absolutely nuts for putting some of those books on my final order cut-off spec picks of the week, or my new comic book day specs? Are there any books that you think I missed? Guys, let me know down in the comments below. That is one of the most helpful tips for me as a growing speculator, is letting me know if there is a book that I missed that you really think will do well on the secondary market. Alright guys, now it's time for me to say, if you guys are not subscribed, get yourself subscribed, hit that bell for notifications, and smash that like button. And last but not least, if you would like to help support Stephanie and I just a little bit more than subscribing and hitting that bell, well, you guys can become a channel member for just $4.99 a month, and that also gets you an entry into the end of the month giveaway, which is a mystery box filled with $50 or more worth of comic books or comic book merchandise. And that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And the next 10 seconds are for my amazing channel members. And guys, I will be back next week with my must-have pickups, my comic book speculation recommendations video, and then I'm gonna have a nice little video for you guys on Friday. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.